The word oppression derives from the word press, meaning to mold, flatten, or reduce something in bulk. The 5 phases of oppression are exploitation, powerlessness, marginalization, cultural imperialism, and violence. Exploitation is defined as the act of using people's labors to produce profit while not compensating them fairly. It is characterized by the steady process of the transfer of labor of one social group to benefit another, and is often viewed in the context of the economic conditions created within a capitalist society. An example and common form of exploitation is cheap child labor. Millions of children around the world are trapped in child labor, depriving them of their childhood, their health and education, and condemning them to a life of poverty and want. The second example of exploitation are sweatshops. Sweatshop workers are often subject to the absence of a living wage or long hours, poor working conditions such as health and safety hazards, and arbitrary discipline such as verbal or physical abuse or fear and intimidation when they speak out or organize a union. A third version of exploitation is sex trafficking. Both women and children fall victim to sex trafficking for a variety of reasons, including the belief that it is the only economically viable option. The trafficking of women and children for sexual exploitation results in a negative impact on the health and well-being of victims, which could have long-term effects or even be life-threatening.
Powerlessness. The powerless are dominated by the ruling class and are situated to take orders and rarely have the right to give them. An example of powerlessness is when women are overlooked in business due to their minimal representation. Even though a woman can be equally as qualified as her male co-workers, a lot of the time she is overlooked and not given the same opportunities to exert power and be highly ranked. Marginalization is the act of relegating a group of people to a lower social standing or outer limit or edge of society. Overall, it is a process of exclusion. Marginals are people the system of labor cannot or will not use. These include, but aren't limited to, blacks, Indians, and other racially marked groups, old people, and physically and mentally disabled. This is a very dangerous form of oppression because entire groups of people are separated from society.
Cultural imperialism is a universalization of a dominant group's culture and experiences. Experiencing cultural imperialism entails having the particular perspectives of one's own group rendered invisible through the normalization of a dominant group's lifestyle. Dominant groups project their own experiences as representative of society as a whole while neglecting the experiences of other cultures. Culturally dominated groups undergo paradoxical oppression. At the same time that they are rendered invisible, they are also marked out by stereotypes. These stereotypes permeate society to the point that they are considered facts and universal truths. Those who fall victim to cultural imperialism are defined by an outside network of dominant meanings that they have no control over. Examples of cultural imperialism include the forced assimilation of Native Americans into American culture, British colonization of India, and the spread of American culture through globalization.
Violence is an operation that leaves members of some groups with the knowledge that they must fear random, unprovoked attack on their person or property. People use violence because they want to show their power, such as weapons to the weak, in order to force them to obey their orders. School violence is a common operation in movies, stories, and real societies. Some high-grade students hurt and oppress other lower-grade students for their personal effects just for fun. Also, they might rob money from the lower grades by using their violence.
In review, there are 5 phases of oppression. They consist of exploitation, powerlessness, marginalization, cultural imperialism, and violence.
Created using Powtoon.